my pleasure to introduce you to Daniel Jenks. Dan lives now in a habitat home that we built in Wynn Hall several years ago, and we talk a lot about we're building a home and for a family, and we always know that it's going to have a profound impact on the whole family, but in particular upon the children who live in the home. And so I thought it would be fun for you to talk and to hear Danny explain a little bit about what it was like to see his house that he's living in now built and to help build it, and what it's been like for him to live in his own home. So do you remember when the house was just a hole in the ground?
Geez, I remember when we used to just have it for a little patch of land where we used to have snowmobilers put the trailers so that we could get money to put on the trailer.
Okay, and then what you were living in on this land was a trailer.
Yeah, it was a mobile home trailer, but...
What was it like to live in that home?
To live in that mobile home, I don't think anybody should go through that, because when I'd sleep on the floor during the winter just to stay warm, because no heat would go through the walls. When we tore down the house, the insulation had literally sunk into the bottom, so there was no insulation in the walls.
This was a house that the trailer was built in the early 70s.
Yep.
And Habitat helps families in need, but who are in need of decent, safe, and affordable housing. The wiring in trailers that are made in the 70s is not up to code today. They're really fire traps, and they should all be put out of service. Fortunately, their family bought this land many years before.
Actually, my grandmother, my dad's mother, gave us the land so that we could have our own house. Because at the time, my parents were living, I think it was in an apartment or in my mom's house that she bought.
So it helped us because we could never have afforded to buy that land. But they owned the land, but they clearly were living in housing that was not adequate or safe. And so they qualified, and so then, and your dad and mom did a lot of work, but your dad, I think, was part of, he helped with the digging the hole for the foundation?
Yeah.
He did the excavation?
Well, we have a friend, Steve Gubb. He owns Bear Paw Landscaping.
Yeah, that's right.
And so he had an excavator, and he was renting a skid steer from Brown's. So he just said, you know what, why don't I come over and we dig this thing in one day? And they dug it in one day, and the next day they just did a little finishing touches.
As I recall, we started your house on August 6th.
Yep.
We had a long wait to finally get the foundation poured, and we completed it in, I think, late January of that year.
Yeah, I think it was late January. Yeah. Because I remember the first week you guys started building, I was actually out in Illinois for a whole week, and I came home and you guys had the floor down. You were getting the sidings up for the walls.
Did you have a lot of fun helping us with that build?
I spent my whole family spent almost 1,000 hours all together into building this house, and it's just nice to be able to go into a house and have friends over and not be ashamed of where I live, because in the trailer I couldn't have anybody over because I felt that they'd think that I was like a slob or something because I was living in this old trailer that had no heating or anything like that.
So it's made a big difference for you in your life, you think, and your family?
Yeah. Actually, it was great that we started when we did, because one day after me and my brother were started sleeping in the Habitat house before we finished moving everything in, because it was warmer, and my parents would sleep in their room in the trailer. And that morning, they actually our water pipes burst in the trailer, so that we didn't have any water in the trailer. So if we didn't have that old house, we would have had to go to somebody else's house to cook dinner or something just to get water. And I didn't want to go through that, but luckily we already had that house built. We were just moving a few things in.
That's right. I remember that. This house we did was different, a little different than any others that we've done. We built a chimney that had
it was a dual chimney.
Dual chimney. And can you want to explain about the dual chimney?
Yeah, the dual chimney is it's just what it's called. A dual chimney has two chimneys put together, but instead of having just one stove hooked up to both of the chimneys, we have our wood burning stove that we have that's hooked up to one, and then we have our oil burning stove hooked up to the other chimney. That way, we mainly use our wood stove when during the winter to save money on
that's right,
on heating bills and stuff.
So, how has this made a difference, do you think, for you and how you do in school? Are you doing better in school?
Yeah, I found I'm doing better in school. Before when I was in middle school, it was my first year in middle school when we started, and I was going in like D's and B's, C's, and now that I'm in I think it was that because I was in like such a cramped space, the sound from the TV when my dad came home and stuff would echo through the walls because there was nothing there to block it. The walls weren't even a quarter of an inch thick.
So it was hard for you to concentrate?
It was hard for me to concentrate on doing my homework and all that. And at the time, I didn't know it, but I was dyslexic, and I was also having a lot of trouble thinking of words and putting my mind on something to keep on going.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, you've got a Boy Scout uniform on.
Yep.
And I noticed that you and your friends are here today helping out. And when you were asked, could you help with the Habitat auction, you said yes right away. Why did you say yes? And why did you talk your friends into coming
Actually,
along with you?
I didn't talk my friends into it. My mom suggested it to our scoutmaster, which is actually right there. His name's Ray, and so he decided, you know what, that'd be great, because we also in the Boy Scouts, in order to go from certain classes to another class. Like, for instance, I'm a second class right now.
Okay.
And in order for me to get to first class, I have to get a certain amount of hours in community service. I have to do a few other requirements in order to get that. So this counts as community service for us.
So why do you think the Boy Scouts have a community service requirement? What do you think that's all about?
I think it's so that we can get in, like, start getting in conflict with other people in the world, and kind of just get us ready for certain things that might come along when we're adults.
Right, to get you in contact with other people in the world, and so the whole idea of giving back to the community in which you live and work.
Yep.
Those are special values, and the Boy Scouts believes that very strongly.
Yes, yes indeed.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's fantastic. And so it's wonderful. Thank you very much for helping today, and I'm so glad that you like living in your house, and it's great to see you again.
Well, since you guys built our house, my parents have told me about 100 times that because you guys helped build our house, we have to we try to go and repay you for helping us out with that. Our first year with Habitat, we during the auction, my mom was the one who my family was the one who ran around all the state and picked up things to bring back here for the auction. Second year, you guys wanted my mom to run it again, but the first year, just a little too much for us. We weren't bringing in the debt line and stuff. And we finally just started doing all this, and our first year here, we didn't make much money because we had a lot of things. We had 2 pianos. Nobody really bought those.
That's right. I remember those. Those are heavy too.
Well, one.
We stopped accepting pianos.
Yeah. After that, only if it was a little electric pianos would we allowed.
That's
would we
right.
get them.
You got it.
And then the second year, last year, I was like the utility man or something like that. You guys would be calling me because I'd be coming up here with a dolly, put with a washer and dryer on it, coming up here, having it almost flip on top of somebody else. Or
I remember that. Well, I think it's really important that and highly motivating for people in the audience that are here bidding to see how that you and your family are involved and how grateful you are in to Habitat, because all these people who gave to the auction, gave things that we're auctioning and are here who are bidding, know that they're helping their family like yours.
Yeah.
So, and that's your participation, your continued participation, and gratitude that's clearly expressed by you and your family means so much to all of us and all the volunteers. And I can tell you, a lot of the people who helped build your house are here today, and it's very exciting for us to see you. And you could say,
Just say hi. Hi, I'm Tina Reed.
what can you speak a little bit about what it's been like for you and your family to be working with us in building the house, and what does Laura and Alfonso and her family have to look forward to?
Oh, I can do
What
that.
kind of an experience?
Sure, I can do that. That's actually very easy. We've been very fortunate. We've had many volunteers. I think the biggest thing that her and her family need to look forward to would be the regulars. There are a bunch of regulars, and Fred and all these guys and the girls, Nancy and them. You'll really like them. They're very helpful. They've done this before. This is not their first dance, let me put it that way. So they really are very helpful, though, and they're very knowledgeable at what's going on. And some of them can even read a blueprint, so it works out really good. But I don't know. All kidding aside, you'll really like them. I've never met such a nice bunch of people. I think you'll really like them. If you don't, you give me a call, because you must be at the wrong house.
So I just look forward to working with them and getting ours started. And to all my friends out there, some in New Hampshire and some in Delaware, said they were going to come help. So I'm going to hold you to it. Thanks.